Welcome back to IPA, where we keep it real and raw. I'm with my homie Jordan, the good boy.
The good boy. I'm with Ree. He got me the IPA. It smells pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, depending on the ones you get, they could be kind of hit or miss. This one, I never tried this brand, but it wasn't too bad. Like, it's really not too bad. It's not hard on you, like, and should make you feel good.
Yeah, shit. You're gonna have to try it out. Not too bad. Not too bad.
But you see what I mean? Like, it's definitely an acquired taste in comparison to, like, normal beer. Like, regular, like, either domestic or imported. And, like, this has, like, it almost kind of reminds me of, like, Heineken a little bit.
You know, I'm usually fine with, like, drinks as long as they're not absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, like,
you ever had a Jaeger bomb before?
No, I have not.
Bro, that shit is fucking terrible. It's like black licorice, like a black licorice shot type shit, mixed with Red Bull. Terrible. Terrible.
I was always like in college, because that was when I like drank.
Yeah.
And I didn't even like drink, because some of them niggas go hard and blacking down, throwing up. Like, you having fun. Yeah. I'm like, you okay, whatever, alcohol. But, you know, but I mean, I loved my darks. I was on the Henny at first until I found my own wave with the Crown.
The Crown? See, I feel like the Crown just gives me a different, like, it's almost like a different drum. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like with all types of alcohol, they give you a different type of inebriation, you know?
Yeah.
So, with Crown, I don't know. I think I just had some bad experiences off of it. Like, it just really fucked my stomach up, so I wasn't able to really hold it down too well, you know?
I've always just been really partial to, like, whiskeys. So, you know, Crown whiskey, the Jacks.
Yeah.
You know, then they introduced, like, the new flavors. The Crown Peach, or you had, like, the Jack Honey.
Yeah.
You know, lower alcohol count slightly, but you still get that, you know.
Oh yeah, it still gives you exactly what you're looking for. You know you drinking with Jack. You know what I'm saying, or with whiskey.
And then after that, I kind of just like said, shots. I ain't really a shot guy no more. I feel like shots. People in college was taking shots. Like, I have something to prove. I can outdrink y'all. I'm not trying to outdrink nobody. I'm trying to have a good time. You know. So now, I like nice fruity mixed drink. You know.
Oh yeah. Nice little pina colada.
Not that, because I'm not really a coconut guy.
Ooh,
but like,
man, I gotta tell you about this spot, but continue.
AMFs, decent as hell. Just any kind of like fruity mixed drink that tastes good with a high, you know, count.
Do you like margaritas? Yeah.
Bump.
Yeah. Ever since I tried them, it's like my experience eating Mexican food isn't complete without a good margarita.
Margaritas are very nice, flavorful, and they complement that cuisine.
It's crazy. Like, same with a Corona, I can't lie. It's like there's something that it just brings it all together. You know what I'm saying? From all standpoints. But when you were going to IU, was that kind of like your inception into videography, photography, and graphic design, or were these kind of awesome facets that you picked up before you ended up going to college?
These are things that I picked up before college. It was really like a middle school thing as far as videography. College is when I hit the ground running in terms of doing it for monetary gain. But starting out, I went to Embassies of Christ Church. Rest in peace to Pastor C. He just died like last month. But they notorious mega church up in the area. They have their own media team, 4-camera setup at the time. I saw somebody, a dude named Aaron, working a jib crane. I said, I want to do that. That looks fun. So I asked, and they really like showed me about how you can work cameras and you could like do all this like media stuff, audio, visual, and they taught me about freelancing. Which
when was this?
This was like getting into high school. Because I also went to Emerson School that closed down around the way, and they had majors. At first I was a drama major, but then I became a radio and TV major. So it kind of went hand in hand. But the church was showing me about freelancing and how you could like go out, do a gig for somebody, they'll pay you, and it's like you're adhering to your own schedule, you have your own little like free time, and you're basically contracting out your acquired skills or your services to people. And I was like, that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah.
Like that was like a different sense of freedom. And then I'm seeing how like I wouldn't say coworkers, because it wasn't like a paid job, Embassies of Christ, but they became my coworkers through freelancing. How like they were living and how they had this sense of freedom and they was like really having fun doing what they were doing. I said, that's something that I want to like chase.
What I can appreciate about that, you coming into that situation, is they showed you the positives and like how to overcome the barriers without presenting them to you at the beginning. Because a lot of times when people come up with ideas or pursuits of entrepreneurship on their own and they begin to talk about it amongst their peers, like they hear all of the negative sides of what could come with that. But you got to see from like firsthand, like this is really like cake. Like it has its own, like kind of troubles that comes with it, but at the same time, like as you said, it's a major sense of freedom that you get with being able to set your own schedule, still make money, and still be able to live comfortably the way you see fit.
Yeah, they were really good at just taking care of me and just showing me around. The media team had a really good sense of camaraderie and morale. Really strong team building, type of thing that we had going on. They even took me on my first music video shoot. And that was like...
Shouts out to them.
That was like life changing. And they go to Drake Park.
Oh yeah.
His fit was crazy.
Everybody was trying to figure out what shoes Travis was wearing in these. Like, cause it was like some type of custom collab that he had with Nike that, nobody knew what they were. Everybody thought they might have been Brown 5s or something, or like some type of boot, but I don't know. I forget what type of Nike it was, but yeah, Drake. Bro, this whole situation was just like,
you can't tell.
In hindsight, there's no way to tame this type of thing. Like,
yeah, and just like from like watching, you can't tell nothing crazy
because you can't see it on video.
Yeah,
like we can't even tell that something's going down in this situation. But at the same time, it's like, because I actually went to Smino and JID's concert on Tuesday. So when I was there, at a point, like I could tell what these people made, like on a way lower scale, obviously, but I could tell how you could be put in kind of a compromised position, because not only are you breathing the same air as like everybody else around you, but the heat generated by everybody around you, these smoke machines, like it's all kind of like playing in a huge factor, and you could definitely get lightheaded in there, like, and worse, you know what I'm saying, obviously.
Yeah, when I went to Summer Smash the first year, me and my friend Morris were in the front to see Playboy Cardi. So we got there around like noon. Playboy Cardi was probably playing around like 9, ish. So we was making our way in the main crowd at like 2, and that's all the way in the back. So we were like working our way up, and we hit the front, a few hours in, but it got so hot. Yeah. People were sweaty. It's a collective must too. Like that's what they don't tell you. Like at them hot ass festivals,
you got a sweaty ass dude rubbing up on you and shit. Like
if you're in the crowd, you're gonna stink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna get musty. It's gonna get hot. There's no wind coming in. Everybody's blocking it. It's like I'm seeing hella people pass out. I'm seeing people getting sick, vomiting in the crowd. I'm seeing people getting carried out. Make room. So I definitely see. And this was like, I want to say a month before this happened. So it's like, I was like, I wonder how people are like in the front at this concert.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you probably just described it best. Like that to even grander scale because the amount of people that were here is just like ridiculous. And, yeah.
I misspoke. The first time I went was 2019. The second time I went was 2021 to the festival, and that was a month before this.
Mm-hmm.
So after seeing like on the other side of like being on the stage, taking photos, and like just seeing all the people out there just bunched up and crowded up, and people still being like carried out, or like as they're like waiting in between sets, and they're like yelling and shit, and it's just a whole lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Artists can't just like tame it.
Yeah, nah. I mean, even if they were to stop like the concert over what was going on in the crowd, they could be in jeopardy of their contracts that they signed with the company that produced all of like the stage design, all of who's paying for it, like whose pocket it's coming out of. It honestly, low key, I really think this is kind of, and I hate to say this, but a situation like that was really bound to happen. Just judging off of like not only the circumstances that the crowd is in, with it being so many people, their chances are they're probably there all day waiting for this concert to start, and it's one of the best artists of like our like generation that hasn't performed since he dropped his album. He didn't even get to tour after he dropped Astroworld because it was COVID that happened immediately after. So hasn't had a concert in like almost 3 years. Same with Drake. I mean, I hate to say it, but this is kind of like a recipe for disaster. But at the same time, they put on one hell of a concert. It was a really good concert, and they did their thing. But it's unfortunate that it resulted in like people like passing away. That is really sad.
Yeah.
But so back to kind of just getting into it. So what happens after you're kind of introduced to how easy it is to be a freelancer?
I didn't start to freelance till college, but I was still like being in radio and TV at school. It gave me a chance to get that creativity out. Not that many chances, because my school was still kind of small. Only had like 900 kids total, 84 kids in my graduating class. So I didn't have like a lot of extracurricular things to bounce off of. But the radio and TV class, my major, they let me shoot films each year.
There's a film on your YouTube, and I scrolled all the way down, and it was the first video, and it was like a zombie flick, wasn't it? Or something to that effect.
It was that one. When I joined radio and TV, I want to say my sophomore year. It was toward the end, and they didn't really have much for me. But the second year, my junior year, they was like, for your final, you can do a film, you could do like a newscast, etc., or something else, some other small thing. And I was like, shit, we here, let's shoot for the stars, let's do a film,
Yeah.
Films are hard though, man. Film?
From like, give me the take by take. Like, tell me all the difficulties, because I at one point in time I wanted to like screenwrite, and once I kind of got into it, I seen how difficult it was, because it's like, how do you talk? How are you able to speak from first person perspective and give someone else's take from their perspective and still like stay within the confines of the conversation and make sense and try to be funny, and you want to like add some essence to, like, it's so in depth.
Screenwriting is one thing, because it's like you have to make it make sense. It has to be good. You can't have them talking through every single thing. Like you have to have room for action, and all of that. But also, just pre-production in general is hell, because it's like logistics. Like you have to cast the people. You have to make sure that they can act well. Make sure that they have time for you to, do this extra thing that you added on into their lives. You have to schedule everything. This is by far my least favorite part. It was scheduling in case you probably have to like rehearse too, so that you don't get there first day and it's a complete like mess while shooting. Um, all of that. Shooting was cool, editing was cool, but I would say pre-production into shooting, that's probably like the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. So, what qualities could you like, or do you look for in a good actor when you guys are casting? Like, were you a part of the casting like call? Like,
Yeah, each time I've shot films, I was pretty involved in every aspect.
mm-hmm.
What was the question again? The
So
casting?
yeah, like what qualities do you look for in a good actor? Like what sets like someone who has potential to act apart from someone who's just like, yeah, I don't think this is really for you.
First, can you work well within a team?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's important because if you can't work well with people, then we're gonna have a hard time on set.
Yeah.
You know, are you believable? Do you have work ethic? Because memorizing lines, that's really a reason why I switched my major from drama to radio and TV, because I just didn't want to be memorizing lines all through high school. I just left that in middle school. Are you okay with memorizing lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the timing, like, do you have time for this? Are you going to constantly cancel? Are you going to be a person of your word, you know? I feel like actors, especially at this level, or at that level, 16, 17, 18, 19, through college, they could be taught, especially when you're working with people that don't act. Because at that school, we didn't really have like a good pool of people willing to act that weren't already in their obligations.
Yeah.
You know, like the drama majors, they gotta write their own plays and they gotta do that for like their finals. So it's like you don't want to just pull them away for, you know, your thing.
And that's understandable. And so tell me about once you get into college. Like, what was your college selection like? Like, what was that process like? Did you always know that you wanted to go to IU or stay somewhere that was in the same state, or were you kind of just like weighing out the options and that was the best opportunity?
Up until like 11th grade, I didn't really know. I applied to a bunch, but I had a friend, his name is Cardio, and he told me about groups, about how they're basically giving people from low socioeconomic backgrounds basically free rides. That's how they would say it, to help, you know, the kids, but I really see it as you need to raise your quota.
Yeah.
Use me all you want. You can use me.
Hey,
free.
It ain't hurting.
No, college, no debt. Use me. Fuck it. So he told me about groups, and I was like, well, I'm gonna just make it my mission to get in the groups. I'm gonna do everything I can to stand out and you know get there. IU was actually the only school that didn't accept me because groups is a conditional acceptance.
Yeah.
So it's like if you get accepted through groups, you gotta complete their summer program, et cetera, and then once you complete it, you're in the school. But they have different requirements. Like the requirements for groups is a little bit lower than the regular requirements for the school. So I didn't have a high enough SAT score for regular acceptance, so they denied me. But I had a good enough score for groups. They let me through.
Interesting.
Yeah, every other college that I applied to, I got in though, except IU.
Dang. So if you didn't have the opportunity to potentially get a free ride, do you think you would have still pursued college and higher education? Like, do you still think you would have ate the debt and just been like, yeah, I'm gonna make it back on the back end of after I finish my education? I know I'm gonna go for something that I'm gonna be able to pay that off and it's not gonna hurt me in the long run.
Yeah, I just always wanted to complete that higher ed, you know, make the family proud and just make myself proud just as first generation college student. I just wanted to, you know, have that accomplishment. Thank you, I appreciate it. Just to have that accomplishment. But yeah, bless you. Yeah, the no debt made it all the more sweeter, and it gave me a little bit more, free reign to, have fun. Because, not saying that I was like Mr. Skip class or, but you can skip class when it's free opposed to if you're paying $20,000. You better be at every single class.
Yeah.
Not waste that money. But yeah, it just really gave me a little bit more free range to have a little bit more fun on the campus and really round out my college experience. But as far as like videography, yeah, so I shot 2 films in high school, and I went into college knowing I want to do films. Became like a production major, film major, and I hit the ground running. First year, shot a film. The entire year, started writing in the fall, shot in the spring, edited, had another guy shoot for me and edit. His name is Tad. Shout out Tad.
Shout out Tad.
Me and my friend wrote, directed, and starred in it as the main characters, and then that logistic, getting everybody, scheduling, that was a fucking nightmare. I remember I got so mad at this one dude, man. I got so mad because I had wrote out like a whole schedule. I said, I'm going to space it out and I'm going to like have y'all shoot only on like Saturdays, right? To get these scenes out the way. So one night was the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And I said, are you guys okay with shooting on the Super Bowl? Yeah, we're fine. We get there, and they're trying to like rush me. I'm like, if you wasn't okay with shooting during the Super Bowl,
you could have just said.
You could have just. It would have been perfectly fine. We could have did this the day before. We could have did this the day after. I could have I just made this like schedule up.
Yeah.
Like, but don't fucking buck up at me. I'm the director. Like, chill the fuck out.
And this is what we all agreed to. Let's not make it seem like I'm just a tyrant and I'm making it. Y'all gotta be here. Like.
Yeah, like it's okay.
Yeah.
But Drop That had a nice premiere for it. Had people taking it a little bit more, or a lot more seriously. The marketing was.
What was the film about?
The Last Job. It was about some college students struggling to pay off their tuition, so they became drug dealers. And they were at the last payment, and basically they didn't have the product to like sell this one guy, so they lied about it, and the guy was mad, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I might check it out. Is it on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I'm gonna link it in. I'm gonna link it on the channel.
Yeah. Did some pretty good marketing for it. I was going into classrooms, lectures, asking if I could do like my little like spiel, for it. Did a lot of like, person to person grassroots, just which I felt like that was probably my best way of marketing, being able to reach each person.
Truth be told, like doing the groundwork is very important, especially in the beginning. Like when you're trying to, as you said, like you hit the ground running, so in a sense you had something to prove. And it's like, I want to be taken serious amongst my peers. I don't want to fall in the minutia of like everybody else that's doing this. I want to stand out in my own way, and I think that was a really good approach, because especially with film, I think that like having a camera incites something in people. Like it's something that's like, oh, someone cares about whatever I'm having to say behind this. So let me, let me pay attention to it or engage in it in some form or fashion,
Yeah. Also, it was a lot easier to like do that in college, because you got 50,000 kids just here, trying to reach that same goal, and a lot of people have that like school tribalism where it's like, oh, you're from here, I fuck with you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Off the string.
Yeah. So had the premiere. It turned out well. The media school let me host it in their foyer that has like the super big screen. Had food and stuff. Had a roundtable discussion after. That was really cool. But the next year is when I got into music videos because, mind you, I had a full ride up to a certain point. Like I basically had like a threshold.
Yeah.
I chose an expensive dorm, and I had to pay money up out of pocket. I had a job on campus in the food court that wasn't paying me enough to cover, and still have fun outside.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I can't just like sit here and just be poor.
Yeah.
Like people were asking me, do I shoot music videos? And I said, I could, but I don't really know. So the same crew that helped me do film helped me shoot like my first 2 or 3 music videos. $100. $100 videos. And yeah, it changed my life, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
Honestly, bro, one thing that I definitely admire about like what you and what Forrest did down at IU and kind of using the network of being at such a large school to kind of strengthen and bring up like what you guys were going to be doing after school, because when I was down at ISU, I used to think like, oh yeah, like damn, maybe I should start streaming or something, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, but I didn't have like the heart to actually try to step out and do these things. So like seeing what y'all were able to do with it and how you structured your careers after the fact is definitely very intelligent. I commend y'all. Hey.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And back then I just felt like while I'm young, it's better to take the risk now. Even if I fail, it'll look better doing it now than when I'm 30. Cause failure gonna hit a little bit harder in this field at 30.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And people might be a little more hesitant to hop on the wave then too.
Yeah.
And support. So I said, fuck it. And I was just like, if I can commandeer a 50,000, student population, I can commandeer a 500,000 fan base, or I can accumulate something like that.
100%.
So it just kind of felt like practice. I definitely pivoted more toward music videos when I saw how quicker the turnaround was. Because films, for me, I couldn't, and I still want to shoot films, and I still will, but films were such a long process to where it was like, there were times where I was like unsure if the film was even gonna make it on time. Both of the films in college and in high school, that's a lot of extra stress. I remember for the second film, I was like, man, we need a party scene. Gotta do a whole party. But we can't leave the party in nobody else's hands. It has to be our party so that we can control it. I was like, fuck it. I'm finna learn how to DJ, start this party, just sacrifice it all. Did the party. The party was a fucking rager. It was fucking crazy. Didn't shoot the fucking scene. I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. Was it like you forgot, or was it like just like there was never the correct, like, what happened?
Timing, like,
damn.
The party, mind you, we're still grassroots, hit every person, build a personal connection with people to get them to support. So it's like, we're telling everybody, hey, our party's coming up, et cetera, et cetera. You want to have fun, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. So we didn't expect the party to get that full that fast. because the scene was just like a walkthrough.
Yeah.
You know, it's a simple walkthrough. So in about 30 minutes it got full. In about an hour it got max capacity.
Yeah.
And like an hour and a half it was just.
It was busting. It was busting.
Yeah, or just different times when like schedules were just like mixing up like crazy, having to like reshoot all kind of things, and just like not really like knowing if we talked too much and didn't do enough, you know?
Yeah, the coordination wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah, and that's scary when you like plan all of this stuff out in advance, but you still have to do all of this. You know.
I understand. It's interesting. So, describe to me what happens after school. Like once you graduate, you're introduced into the music scene. You're gaining more relationships, making more connections throughout that before leaving school. Then what happens after school?
Ooh, to speak about the music. Shout out Forrest. Forrest is like really the person that got people to take me a lot more serious in terms of like music. Cause I always like made music, you know, even in high school, it wasn't that good. Even like up to a certain point in college, it wasn't really that great. But Forrest was just so serious about it. Forrest already had like his extended group of friends, you know. And
did you two meet in high school or in college?
We met in college. We met because I shot his little video. Then we just got closer. But you know, I gave him a song that I made, and he dropped it. I was the feature called Detention, and everybody just like loved it. Like it almost became like an anthem down there, right?
Yeah.
And people would just like ask me more and more like, you need to like drop your own tape, etc. While I'm still doing like features for him this year and doing like little mixes on like SoundCloud, to where it was just a lot of hype, and I dropped the tape and people just took it serious and they enjoyed it, and they actually bumped it and they was posting about it on social media with tweets and like all kind of stuff. So that was cool. That was really cool. After school though, after school got a bit rough. I had all the hope in the world that things were gonna move like a certain way.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not anything that I did. So my mother, she had a stroke, right?
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know, right? And I was messed up about it for a long time. But basically, I'm the only child. So it's like, I'm the caregiver now. So it's like, that kind of, it had the potential to kill my business. Because my business was kind of built on like spontaneity. I could be where you need me at any time. You need me in Houston Friday, book the flight, I'll come. You know, like I was always available to be moving around. Now I can't move around nearly as much and shoot as much. So really that's what happened. I became mostly like the editor, more locally shooting, Chicagoland area, still making music, but it really hurts that I can't support the people that really supported me. Cause you know, a lot of those people that I went to college with, they live like Indy, you know, maybe still down there in like Bloomington, doing things, different places across the state, different places across the country. You know, hurts not being able to really show up in person for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can kill momentum, that can kill fan bases, that can kill a lot of stuff. Just as we was talking about momentum with Travis, how that Deadly concert could have just killed, or it did halt him.
Yeah, it didn't go unscathed in that situation.
Yeah. How like if a smaller artist, or if he had something like that happen just a few years earlier, how that could completely kill his momentum. I felt like the whole like stroke thing, it killed my momentum a bit, people started to care a bit less and less. And I was like, damn, you know, it hurts because I can't really do much about it from like that grassroots that I really built up my marketing doing.
Yeah.
So also just the whole show just kind of changed my like way of like thinking about a lot of stuff. You know, I cared a lot more about social media and social like equity and image and having like my consistency shown instead of just doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Now I just, you know, make my money, go in the crib, take care of my mother, you know.
Honestly, I think a big thing that I didn't start to really kind of think too deeply into until I got older was my own mortality and the mortality of the people around me, you know. And truth be told, like, for one, it's really commendable that you're willing to do that for your mom, you know, because I used to work in customer service, you know, and I'd hear a lot of like stories about, you know, sometimes people, when they're coming into a store, they just want someone to talk to. So I've heard stories of like people coming in and telling me their own children would like kick them out of the house and they just like didn't want anything to do with them, you know, and it's like, it's nice to hear that you're still willing, like, you know, because at the end of the day, it's your mom, you know, you only get one, you know,
Yeah.
and the fact that it presented an issue or a possible obstacle that you couldn't overcome, but you still were able to maneuver outside of it, and that leads me to ask you, like, what did that look like? Like, now your life has drastically taken a 180, you know, I would say a 90, not a full 180, but a 90 for sure. So now that it has changed, how did you maneuver out of this change to still be able to do what you need to do to pursue what you want to do and still make money from what you're doing?
Thankfully, I'm not like a one-trick pony as far as like creativity goes. So it's like, even though I love doing music videos, and the music videos is like, it's become my bread and butter, I'm not limited to it.
Yeah.
So like, I could also do like photography. I could also do graphics. I could also, if you send me footage, I could also edit, which I like more than shooting. You know. So it still gave me realms to make money. It didn't like just like. That's why I'm glad I didn't have a conventional job.
Yeah.
Cause say I worked at like Best Buy, and that happened. There's no more Best Buy in that equation for me. Like, I have to go home and I gotta like watch them. You know. So I'm glad that I chose this path. Cause I always told people, y'all may think that media is like an unsafe major or like a major that doesn't have stability. I counter that with technology is always going to be moving forward. Media is always going to be here. Media is one of the safest majors that you can choose. You'll always have a job. Somebody's always going to need a photo taken. Somebody's always going to need a video edited. Somebody's always going to need a flyer, a logo, something. There'll always be a means for you to make money. Somebody is always going to need something to watch. We consume media entertainment all fucking day.
Yes.
You know,
100%.
Scroll up on our phones all fucking day looking at shit. YouTube has gone in like a little over 18 years, just a random website, to one of the most important, you know, media interfaces that we have. So that's what it kind of looked like. I kind of had to like let the music videos not take a back seat, but kind of like, it made me be consistent in a different way. Because I wasn't a quantity over quality person. But I did pride myself on, I shot 80 something videos this year. I shot 75 videos this year. I'm really working.
Yeah.
How many of those did I really like though?
I understand.
Yeah.
So then that's when the true artist in you comes out, because you're able, and with most great artists, they're able to critique themselves almost to a fault, because you know what potential you have to make a great quality body of work. But at the same time, like you said, it's like the give and take with it. Like you're putting in the work and you're doing much more work than your peers and your predecessors, but at the same time, it's more so like, now do I want to be more selective about the type of work that I do, or when does that become like a factor? Like when do I start becoming like, okay, now it's exclusive, you know, to work with me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do want to ask, during your college experience, was there a professor or anyone in particular that kind of transcended your thinking about where you could take your talent, or was it kind of like you always were sure of where you would go with what you were doing?
I was always sure, but there was a professor that showed me what I didn't want to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Bolstridge.
His whole name.
Eric Bolstridge. C223 had to wake up early as hell at 8 a.m. for his lecture, and then we had to split off into labs. Labs were cool,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Labs we got to like actually do shit. But his lecture, he would like always just like say, nobody's gonna watch your videos. Nobody's gonna not like say Jordan. Nobody's ever gonna watch.
Yeah.
But like he would like preach like nobody's ever gonna watch your videos. Nobody's gonna do this. You know, you should settle, etc., etc., etc. He was definitely quantity over quality.
Mm-hmm.
He actually said it. He said, "I make mediocre shit, but I'm consistent, so I have a job." And I was like, "Oh, wow,
Interesting.
yeah." So.
Interesting. It's two heads of the same coin, or two sides of the same coin, honestly. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense if there's no money being made from it. And it does, you know, like, and people, like, this could definitely be someone's hobby that they're just like, you know, this is just what I like to do. But at the end of the day, you didn't get into it for that reason. That's what, you didn't take it that serious, just to always treat it as a hobby. Eventually, there was the foresight of like, yeah, this is going to become something that I make my life off of. My life is going to be sustained off of this, you know. But
Yeah, he was weird. I'm not gonna lie. He was a weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely showed me I can't end up like him. Kind of did with like, I shot 88 videos this year.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a lot of them, but there was some I did just to make some money.
I mean, I think that is just a sign that you know what you put yourself in his position, and you knew you didn't like necessarily like it. Like, it was cool for the sake of making the money, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though like you felt like, yeah, you know, I see what you're saying, but this ain't necessarily me.
You know what really drove the point home for me? I gotta post these people on my page, you know, to get clientele.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to show the work I did. I can't put all these whack rappers on my page.
Yeah.
And I'm not like,
Yeah.
actually I am saying, I can't put all these whack rappers up on my page.
Hey, just call a spade a spade.
On my YouTube page, on my Instagram page. No matter how good the video is,
Mm-hmm.
people still gonna shit on it if the song's ass.
This is facts.
You know, high production value isn't gonna save a low production song.
No.
That's why I started to post videos in 10s instead of just one,
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't want to put 10 different posts. I'd rather just put a big 10.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I could put like hard one up front, hard one up in the back, and put little mediocre ones up in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, so that also everybody gets posted.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that. It accomplishes it's two birds with one stone. You know, they still get the recognition that they want to get. At the same time, you're still showing that you're producing work, that you're still like, I'm still relevant, I'm still here, you know, and I'm the one that you want to go to because your visual is going to look like this. But let me ask you, have you had just a straight up bad experience like recording or shooting somebody? You know, like where it's just kind of like, yeah, don't hit me up no more.
A lot of them, yeah. I've shot over like over 250, close to 300 videos since 2018. A decent amount of them I had a problem with. Probably the worst one. So this guy had died, right?
Okay.
And rest in peace to him. But he made a song, and the song was bad. Call it spade a spade. The song was bad. His brothers was like,
and everyone makes bad songs. Let's say that.
Yeah,
like everybody,
like
there's nobody that doesn't make a fucking bad track.
It's okay. Like I make bad songs too. I made a bad song this year. I also made some really good ones.
Check those out for sure.
Yeah. Even
Exotic Birthday Cake. It is out. Please listen. You will not be disappointed.
The song was bad, and his brothers wanted to do. They was having like a homegoing party for like a big party. They had strippers and it was a crazy party, and they was like, we want to shoot the video of at the party, but have it like a party recap video. And I was like, okay, worst video. Like like they work. Mind you, that was the video. I said, all right, I can't let nobody like treat me a certain way no more. Not saying that I did, but I can't tolerate disrespect. Price is price. Work is work. Like can't let nobody like make me do a video that I don't want to. There's no just do it and suck it up. It's none of that. If I don't want to do it, it's no. I don't have to explain, because they was just like complete fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like just complete fucking assholes. And I already feel weird recording parties. I hate doing party recaps, because you got to get all up in people's personal space as they're having fun, and you just kind of ruin the moment being all in their face.
Yeah.
It's just weird, you know.
And sometimes people aren't necessarily coming for that, or they don't even necessarily know that that's going to be going on. So it's like, I can understand how that could come off as a negative.
Then they got like strippers there. They got their pussy out. I'm like, I'm not putting my camera on this.
Like, this is going on YouTube.
So like, get this. I'm like, I'm not getting that. Like, and then the shots that we got was like just terrible shots. I've shot bad videos too. Don't let any videographer say everything I drop and see. You can shoot bad videos too. Like,
we human, man.
Yeah, like it was just a completely terrible video, and it was a bad experience, and they was just complete asshole. And then they called me like some months later and said, can you shoot this wedding tomorrow? No, the fuck I can't. No, the hell I can't. Why didn't y'all plan this in advance?
Not even a DM.
Not even a DM. Tomorrow? A wedding tomorrow? The biggest day of somebody's life, you want just a random videographer to come in the next day? And mind you, I've shot weddings. The very first wedding I shot at 15, I missed a kiss, and when the bride found out, like, the next day or something, she fainted and she wanted to curse me out. What? I swear to God. I swear to God. Damn. It was, and oh my God, that was a terrible experience too. Let me tell you, I was contracting, freelancing with Embassies of Christ. The director at the time, Ronald Moore Jr. You remember this, Ronald? He was like, yeah, shoot this for me. And I'm just young and dumb. Okay, I would do it. Yeah, I want to practice. Gives me a fucking half-dead battery and a charger that don't work. And there's another guy there. He's a photographer. His name is Avery. I'm asking him for help for pointers. I've never done this. He's done this. He's like, I'm not obligated to help you. I know, right?
Bro, is it really that deep?
It wasn't, but he made it that deep. So I'm sweating bullets the whole fucking time. Because I have to record all of this shit. I got to get coverage of everything.
Yeah.
And the camera is just dying. It's just dying. And I swear to God, right before the kiss, the camera shuts off. I was like...
I damn near wanted to walk out.
Dude,
just like,
I was like...
I mean, like, and you still, like, how did it feel even editing that? Like, just like knowing that it's like, damn, like.
So the person, Ronald Moore Jr., who sent me there, he edited it. And I called my mother and I was like, I missed the kiss. I was like, I missed the kiss. She was like, it's okay, but you have to tell him. And I was like, I don't want to tell him.
Yeah.
And she was like, there's no way around it. Eventually you're going to have to tell him.
Yeah.
So I told him, and he was like, it's okay. It wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's the money shot.
That's the money shot,
That's the money shot.
It wasn't okay. He tried to get the money back from my mother, and she said, no, you sent him there at a half-dead battery. So, she's always been.
She's a muscle.
Yeah, she was a veteran. She's always been.
Oh yeah, she's a muscle for real.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to rock. I ain't trying to mess with my dudes. Dang. So, wait. So to pivot, I do want to ask, like, so I feel like when I'm listening to your music, the love songs you be making, they be hitting, bro. You really be doing your thing on them. So do you have like a love interest? You got a girl right now that it's just like, and she's kind of like your muse, or do you just like, hey, this is kind of.
Right now, it's off of experience. I don't really think I could have a sustainable love interest as the caregiver of my mother right now. You know, I think that it's just gonna end in heartbreak and turmoil because I won't have the time or the depth to do everything that I want. Like, I can't stay out all night no more.
That's a noble viewpoint because a lot of times, you know, when people got a lot going on, they think a relationship is going to fix whatever or help alleviate whatever's like stressing them. But in a lot of cases, it just becomes another form of baggage. I hate to say it, but like it does become like another source of, because that's another person who has genuine feelings that deserves to be like, that deserves to be nurtured, be cared for, and feel validated, you know?
Yeah, and I just don't want to waste nobody's time because the time will get wasted, and I don't want to disappoint nobody because they will end up disappointed, and I'll have bad reviews for the next girl.
Yeah.
You know, because they all talk.
Oh yeah.
You know.
We know how you ladies be moving, though. You know,
Yeah.
we done picked up.
Yeah, so unfortunately, though I would love one, you know, it's just not sustainable right now.
Truth be told, too, like a lot of what I've learned throughout my failed relationships is I'd rather have something kind of like fall in my lap and it works easier. And maybe it'll come from a different level of understanding that some women may not have for your situation, but others may be able to like relate and be able to empathize with the situation, and not only that, but be willing to help too, because that plays a huge role. Like I know with me and my girl, it's like the dynamics of what our relationship is and how we move between each other. Like we understand that neither of us necessarily need each other. You know, we're not. Neither of us are in a situation to where we're the dependent in the relationship. We both know that we can stand on our own too, but we can stand a little bit higher when we're together. You know, so I think that when you can enter a relationship with a clear understanding of what it is, what the dynamics are, what my life is, what your life is, and if we could figure out a way to work it out, then hey, let's make it happen. But I do respect the fact that you're able to be honest with yourself enough to be like, yeah, you know, like the way my time is divided between not only my work but my mom and my own personal life and other business ventures I may want to get into, like I don't necessarily have the capacity for somebody right now. But I mean, ladies, hit my dude up. You know, you know, you can see he's a good man. You know, he be thinking. You know, he real intellectual. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know, I feel like when the time is right, I can fall back into the love of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, right now I have to provide and take care and sustain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it just wouldn't make sense right now.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, they also have to be like willing to help.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Because that like going through something as traumatic as a stroke. Like I thank God that my mom hasn't had any serious ailments happen to her, but I know I've had friends, or I actually had an ex. Her father, he had a stroke, and he had fell, like when it happened, he had fell and hit his head, and he had an aneurysm, you know, and he ended up passing away from that. So, you know, being at the funeral and just kind of seeing, like, because it's such a sudden thing, you know, like, it's not like no one can predict it. It's almost like it just comes out of thin air. So it's like,
It did.
you know, like in that situation, I understand where your heart's at, man. Like yeah, and you need somebody who's going to be willing to not only help mend what's going on with you, but help with the situation. And I know that someone showing your mom that type of attention and affection, like, yeah, like I'm willing to be here for you, like that speaks more volumes than you touching me or you doing anything for me, because that's mental right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those things are very sudden, happens really fast. I'm not really gonna go too deep into it, but I will say this though. When she had like drove while she had the stroke. It was crazy. She was driving, had the stroke. She was driving my car too, so I could have lost her in the car. But basically, she had pulled in the driveway, called me, and it was just a normal day I was up all night making music, you know, just having fun, you know, carefree, you know, thinking about my next videos, thinking about how I was gonna get the current cameras that I have now. How I was gonna say, just mind completely trying to chase a girl still. And I got that call, and I went outside and I took one look at her, and I knew that life from like 2 minutes ago was over. Like it's a completely different new life. Like that whole Jordan from college and high school and getting out and all hopeful, that's over. Now I gotta be a man. Which I will say, the situation has helped me in more ways than it has hurt me. It's developed me a whole lot, and it's made me a lot more mature and conscious of the world and how to move and how to act as a man in general, and know that business is business in more ways than just money. I just handle things. Yeah. You know, I didn't grow up with a father. You know, everything that I learned that's like fatherly or manly was from her, through different role models, or through media. So it really gave me a chance to not only put those three sources to the test, but it also gave me a chance to find out what works for me. You know, so it's been a pretty interesting experience, but I will say I've come out on the other side a better person. And I also think, truth be told, I think I needed something like that, something like crazy left field like that to force that change. Because coming up out of college, I was still a kid. Of course, 21, you're still a child. I still feel, you know, childish a little bit, but you know, like I felt like I needed a focus, or I needed like a purpose, or I needed something to ground me. And I feel like this has given me a chance to ground myself in reality and to be able to like move. It showed me I'm a hustler. It showed me that I'm perseverant. It showed me that even through hard times, the last thing that I'll do is give up.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, man, it's shown me and grown a lot of traits in me that I didn't have in college.
Yeah. I mean, going through traumatic experiences like that, I think it brings another level of introspection, you know, into anyone's life. And even more than that, like, I think that was just meant to be a part of your story. You know what I'm saying? Because even the way you describe it, it sounds like the timing of it was like it was just meant to happen. You know, in a crazy sense, and it changed the dynamics of who you were as a man to now. It's like, you know, without a shadow of a doubt that you can not only stand on your own 2 feet, but you could provide if need be.
Yes.
You know, and that I think that is like that's huge.
As the videographer, as the graphic designer, as the photographer, in a lane that I chose, in a lane that I built up myself, I can pay these house bills with.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, with just that, I feel like I'm successful already. Like I feel like I've reached that level of like I can take care of myself and another person by myself. Different.
Yeah.
Different.
100%.
Timing it's actually crazy that you said that, because it happened 6 months after graduation, and like that 6 month mark is like usually when like folks start getting that like after college blues or like start like that. Oh man, what am I gonna do with my
Reality
life?
hits.
Yeah, that like honeymoon phase is like over. Them gifts stop coming. People stop caring that you graduated, and now it like shifts to now what you gonna do? What's next? I used to hate that question. What's next?
And to even speak on that point, I always talk to like my mom and my friends about like my experience with going through college, because I didn't end up graduating. So for me, I never started to think about what was going to be on the other side of college. You know, like what would my life look like, and how would I start to build myself up to be the man that I see myself in the future. You know, so I think a lot of growing comes. And one thing I do appreciate about college is you're growing with a ton of other people that are growing with you, you know, so the experiences that you're having are shared, and it's like it links you in a different way. That's why I can understand why people recommend college so much, because for me, I was way like in high school. I was always partying. I was out. I was, you know, like doing stuff I shouldn't have, sneaking out the house, running away from cops, like all types of crazy stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. Like not even at that age, just in general.
But it was lit.
Yeah.
Hey, I was lit.
To say the least, yeah. Me and the guys, we definitely had some great experiences. But I love, like, I was appreciative that I experienced that when I was in high school, because when I got to college, I was a lot more focused, and I understood, like, you know, like I'm doing this with a purpose. And I, like a lot of other people's first experiences in college, I had that in high school. So I wasn't excited by the same things, or I wasn't upset that I was missing out on certain things, you know, because my first year, I spent that just on the game playing Fortnite and just in class, you know. But I say that to say, you know, once you get out of school, it becomes like everybody. I believe everybody, once they get out of school, not literally, but it's almost like we're all the same age. We all have the same potential to reach a certain height and reach a certain threshold, whether it's financial, whether it's actual status, or whether it's just mental, like, growth, you know. So once you get out of school, like once school ends, it's like you know, these 20s, they kind of wicked a little bit.
It's different. The 20s are different, and I pray for stability for all the people that I went to school with in college, because those are some real people, you know. And I just hope that they realize their potential, and they realize their like dreams, and where they work hard and they get to where they want to go. Cause yeah, the 20s is wicked. That stroke shit almost took me out the game.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody goes through shit. That's something that I also learned too. That the world doesn't stop. That you could be having like the best time of your life, and somebody is going through their worst low, and vice versa. So I just pray that everything is going all right for my friends. Them internal, battles get wicked. That shit that people don't like to talk about. It gets wicked.
Yeah, 100%. And that, I think that's the beautiful thing that I really love about being able to provide this type of medium, is because I try to approach it from a standpoint of me actually getting to know you, because prior to this camera rolling, we did not know each other. You know what I'm saying? But once we started to talk, it's like I gained an appreciation for you, not only as an artist but as an actual person and as a man, because I could see that. Because like I said, I grew up with a single mom myself, so I could identify with some of the struggles of what it takes and what it looks like to be a man, and to want to grow to be something great and to be successful. And a lot of times, people use not having a second figure in their life as a crutch to why they haven't actualized some of their dreams or some of their aspirations. But I think people like me, people like you, it's fuel. We literally rise to that because we've already been presented with adversity, so we know what it feels like.
Yeah, man. Oh man, I really hate when people generalize people that grew up like us and like have us in that pool of like thinking of us as like degenerates because we didn't have that father figure inside the home.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these types of people are like this or this or this. It's an ick. They're bound to do this, this, and this. They're not successful because of this, this, and this. I'm just like, man, that's such a wicked generalization.
It's a stereotype, truth be told.
Yeah, and it's a nasty. I know a decent amount of people that didn't have. Actually, I'm gonna go as far as saying this. I know some people that are more man than people that had those two figures. I know people that had those two figures that are a lot more bitch made than me.
100%.
So
100%.
So that's where I'm gonna just leave that at. Cause I be seeing some like people have some weird icks, like they be like, I saw it's on one post say, I hate men whose name starts with J, who are Virgos, who have single mothers. I was like, do you fucking know me or something? No, do you know me? It's like, I was like, you.
Bro, it's easy, like, and that's I feel like that just reminds me of Twitter. That just seems like something that you would see as a tweet, and it's like all those stereotypes and all those generalizations of people is just like, it's just what is it called? They just use that to weaponize other people. You know what I'm saying? To like interact with this, whether it's like everybody under the post is saying like, no, that you got that wrong. That's you're no, you don't understand like who we are, or it's people like, yeah, like pre-cis. You know what I'm saying? Like whether regardless of what it is, it's definitely inaccurate. You know what I'm saying? I've met enough people in my life who weren't raised by a 2-parent household, who were still pretty successful in their own right given the circumstances.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Boy.
Me and him actually share a birthday.
Really?
Yeah, December 30th.
That's lit.
That's how I knew I was meant for greatness.
Oh God, yeah. Also, last thing about that, just because a person born between late August and mid-September broke your heart, it doesn't mean that everybody born in that time frame is a bad person. Yeah. You just had an experience with a shitty person. And that's okay, because we all have experiences with shitty people. I done spoke at length on this podcast about my experience with shitty people. but I'm not going to generalize everybody that wants a music video shot because of that.
True.
Or generalize a person just because they were born in this month at this time.
It's a flawed logic. It makes no sense. Yeah, when you really think about it. I mean, my brother's a Virgo too, you know, so it doesn't work. I'm sorry. Even back then when these constellations were first being discovered and these astrological symbols were being like written, the months were shifted to different months. So we're not even what we believe to be. So I try not to get too deep into it because it's like when you look at the history and the science of it, it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
However, I do want to switch the mood. Tell me about some of the best experiences you've gotten through videography, like through not only just the successes and just the triumphs, but just like the small moments where it was like, you know, I love the fact that I'm able to wake up and do this.
I snuck into Summer Smash, procured a media pass. That was crazy. And
You did it yourself?
yeah. And I got to meet a lot of different people, go backstage, get on stage. It was a wild weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. The people were hating though, cause there was one dude who was like, I heard you're not supposed to be here. I was like, I heard you worked too hard to get here. Look at his! Look at his! Look at his! Goofy ass!
Don't play it. Hate the game. Come on.
Hey, look goofy ass. What you gonna do? Snitch? This is the last hand lineup on the last day.
Nah, bro, it's like 10. Like, come on.
Yeah,
man.
I'm like, who you gonna tell? And then what? I'm still here. Uzi on stage right now. That was so fun though. I met a lot of different people who got ends to different like companies and shit. Like I met this a dude who works for the company that helps put on Summer Smash with Lyrical Lemonade, Speaker Box. I wanna work there one day, but my time is a little bit less constrained. All the times that I flew out to shoot a video, those are probably some of my favorite times. Just being able to experience just a different slice of life. My favorite time flying out, the last time I flew out was probably my favorite. I went to Houston. Shot with this dude named Darius. Shout out Darius.
Yes, sir.
Had a shit ton of fun. My friend Jay, who moved to Dallas, he slid down to Houston for the day of the shoot. And we just had a ton of fun. Went to the Galleria. We went all around the city. We was outside this like club smoking on a Sprinter with the owner.
Yes, sir.
Atlanta was cool. Miami was great. Vegas was great. California was nice. All those times were fun. What else? Videography, the connections. This was probably the most satisfying thing, though. A lot of people that I wouldn't meet or wouldn't like, maybe not even look my way if I didn't have like a camera or didn't have a service that have become like really, you know, cool, close people.
Yeah.
Inside my life, or just people that I talk to and can pull from. It's giving me a chance to, you know, grow as a person.
And so where do you plan on going with the music? Like, do you plan on just like sticking with singles, or are you trying to get a project ready? I know you had just dropped. So are you kind of just like rebuilding back, stacking back up some new content to get to people, or you kind of what's on your mind?
So I dropped a little EP on Valentine's Day. Good Boys Need Love Too. Got some nice love songs.
Great tape
on there. Thank you. But honestly, I had to come to a realization that I like music as a hobby. I don't like it as a job.
I've heard that a lot throughout like musicians. It's just like the making part of it is fun. Every other part of it is not.
Cause, say for instance, somebody wants a feature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can be hard to send it back, and I'm like, damn. Just imagine if a label was like, you have to make us 5 albums, have to, in this time span, and they have to sell. And if they don't sell, we're gonna drop you. You're gonna be in debt to us. And then you got these rabid fan bases that's gonna hate you if you say the wrong thing, hate you if you say the right thing, hate you if you flop, hate you if you win. It's weird, you know.
I don't think it's a natural form of living to have that amount of exposure on you constantly and that many people that invested into your life and what you got going on.
If it was like pick which one you'd be famous in, though I'd honestly rather be the behind the scenes guy getting the bread. That's why I chose the camera. I would rather be the Cole Bennett, the Hype Williams, you know. I'd rather be the guy behind the camera that's making the work, the Donald Glover, the producer of the show, the director. I'd even act again. I'd even get back up into acting.
Yeah.
You know, that was my first love. You know, being in front. The reason why I changed is 2 reasons: the memorization thing, and I have a stutter, so it's like it can like act up at times, more so than other times. But you know, that just gives me too many opportunities to fuck up in front of audiences.
I understand. Yeah. I mean, it's just being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Sometimes you gotta do that, be honest with yourself.
I mean, that's why I took this approach instead of just sticking with the music, because I was like, honestly, like, I know my heart isn't in the music the same way that, like, my homies are, and, and then it was just, like, the job that I had at the time, I couldn't compensate for studio time without, like, it didn't make sense, you know, at that point in my life. I still enjoy the process of making music. It's still fun, you know, like, I enjoy being with the homies, you know, being at the studio, just vibing, like, having a good time and whatnot, but like the actual, I don't really care too much about the actual product that I produce. So that to me showed me that I'm not really like invested in it the way that I once thought I was. But I think that it's good to be honest with yourself, you know, at all times, if at all possible.
Now, that doesn't mean that I'd stop making music. I think that music is a good stress reliever, and it's cool to, you know, just have, you know, something to ride around to that you made or just to bump. And it's definitely still a lot of people that check for me and listen.
Yeah.
You know, and also even when like people choose their like different fields and stuff, you know, and they go off into their different avenues and paths, people still make music. Like Chris Jericho, he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
He has a band named Fozzy, you know, and yeah, or just different actors, they still make music. Producers, they get behind the mic, you know. Disney artists, they're actors and actresses, but they got their little debut studio album on top.
Yeah.
You know, like music, I feel like it's just a language that I'll never force myself to unlearn.
I think also like you'll never throughout your path, I think as you grow, like there'll never be a bad time for you to like start like taking it more serious and making it more of a priority. But as of now, like I think it's cool to know you know what your potential is and you know how people gravitate to your music and your sound. So it's like, you know, you can keep it tucked for as long as you want, and then when you're ready to drop, you just pop your head in like, hey,
also,
got this for you.
Also, I think I'm consistently getting better behind the mic. I've been told I can sing now.
Yeah, I think you definitely got it.
I couldn't sing back in when I first started college. it just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But over time and consistency and the auto-tune, thank God for the auto-tune. You know, which let me clear up a misconception about that because I be seeing them I hate auto-tune tweets. Auto-tune doesn't work unless you can stay on key.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
auto-tune isn't just gonna take your bad vocals and make them sound good. If you sing bad into the auto-tune, it's just gonna sound bad.
Yeah, and one of the words my engineer homie KGB tells me.
Shout out to him.
Yeah,
Spaceship.
That's that boy. Check him out. But he always tells me, like, you know, when an artist comes in on some, like, yeah, I want to sound like this artist, and it's like, I mean, the reason that artist sounds like the way he does is because he practices it, and that's just how his voice sounds whenever he's on the mic hitting that key. That doesn't mean that he can engineer your voice to sound exactly like his. And then, truth be told, why would you even want that? Like, why do you even want to sound like somebody else? Like, the whole point of art is being creative and doing something that you haven't seen done, in theory, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, I ain't no rapper, so you know where I'm at. But in closing though, is there anything that you want to tell the people? You want to tell the kids, like, you want to express, like, shoot, like, hey, I think the overall theme in this video is just like not allowing what comes to you to hold you back from what God has for you. You know?
Yeah. What I want to tell the people, I want to tell them to just do it. The reason why I learned how to, or got to be able to learn how to shoot and sing and DJ and really just explore all the creative outlets is because I did it. You know, while you still have time, you know, you're the author of your journey. You know, not nobody else, and it's not about what they think. It's about you're the one that lays in the bed each night, and you're the one that's gonna go up in the ground when it's all said and done. So you want to be able to say, man, I actually did that. I'm happy that I DJ'd for the time I did. Do I like it? No. But I'm happy that I did it and I can do it and jump back into it, and I'm grateful for that part of my life. So if you want to try something, you know, just do it. It might end up being something you like at the very least, or it might end up being something that takes you to a completely new level that you never thought of. You know, post on social media. I got friends that won't post on TikTok. Post on there. You will go viral eventually.
It's really easy. It's honestly crazy.
Yeah.
They got that algorithm down.
I've gone viral 3 times off of bullshit. Just post. Just go out and do it, and you might honestly surprise yourself at the results. Don't let nothing hold you back. Just go out, be yourself, and do it.
You heard it here first.
Breathe.